Hey y'all, it's Amanda from the Little Bluebird Gallery, and I am going to talk to you today about something a little bit different that most people probably don't talk about, and most artists, or most of the ones that I'm aware of anyway, have not really opened up and shared. So if you're here and you're watching, give me a hello. I know I didn't send out the mini chat, my messenger bot alert. I forgot to do that. So I apologize if you're on my list and I didn't do that. Sometimes I forget. A lot of times I get this idea that I want to do something and I want to go live and I just do it and I forget that I need to alert everybody. So I apologize. But I wanted to talk to you guys for just a little bit. Hi Tony, Anita, and Andrea. I'm glad you're here. Sometimes artists that are full-time artists that are doing this as a job, we're using our skills as an artist to make money, as an income to help our family. Sometimes we don't share the complete picture, and that's usually the way that Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and all those things work anyway, right? You just share the things that are good, and you usually share the pretty paintings and not the things that you messed up on. And that makes sense because that's the stuff that you want people to see, right? Well, it's the same with your whole career as an artist, if you want to call it that. There are some things that are not so pretty, and then there are parts of it that are really great and fun. And so I would like to do maybe a series of videos where I kind of give you a little bit of a glimpse inside what it's really like to be a full-time artist. Because as much as everyone might want to think that it's all wonderful and fun and you paint all day and you just use your talents and your hobby and you make lots of money and you don't ever have any problems, that's just not really realistic. That's not how it really works. Things that some people may look at and think are the thing that's making one artist a lot of money may be the thing that is making them the least amount of money. So there are a lot of things that people just don't know. And so I thought it would be helpful. Every month in my business tribe, I share a video with my group, and we talk about things that are going on in my business right now. So I give them ideas and strategies and plans and things that I'm working on myself, just to kind of give them a little bit of an idea of what's working for me and what's not working for me. But one thing that I haven't done is really talked to everyone about what it's really like to be a full-time artist. And you guys who know me know that I didn't start out with this as a goal or a career in mind. It just kind of happened. It just kind of fell into my lap, and I just had to learn a lot as I go. But that doesn't mean that I've got everything figured out all the time. It doesn't mean that I don't ever have challenges and problems, or days where I just feel like I don't want to paint. I'm not interested in painting. And today is one of those days where I can't paint. And I'm going to explain that. So if you have questions about any of this that I'm talking about, go ahead and you can comment with a question. I'll be happy to try to answer as best I can. But I'm going to talk about why today is not a good day for me to paint. And I'm a little bit nervous about sharing all this with you all, because this is the part that you like to cover up. This is the side of things that you don't really want people to know about, because it makes it a little more, it makes you more vulnerable yourself, and it helps other people I know to see the good and the bad sides of things. But at the same time, I'm sharing things that I wouldn't normally share with everyone. But I just really feel like this is something that needs to be said, and I'm the only one that can say it. So here we go. Today I have had some issues with stress, with comparison, and with negative remarks from people online. And so it's made it really hard for me to get out of my own head and just paint something. So we're going to talk about those three things. Stress, number one. I know that I advertise or offer things and say, painting helps you to relax, painting is self-care, painting and creating is helpful to you, and it is, very much is. But when you start painting to sell, it's kind of like studying for a test rather than studying something because you're interested in it. I'm taking it back to my homeschooling days. So if you are studying for a test, it makes it stressful. And if you're painting to sell, it makes it stressful. If you're just painting for the enjoyment of it, or you're just learning something because you want to know that information, it is much easier to really dig in and enjoy it and get a lot out of it. But if you're doing this as a career, if you're doing this because you're depending on money that's coming from something that started out as a hobby, it turns into something that can be stressful. So you have to find ways to motivate yourself. You have to find ways to balance things a little bit. I mean, you can't balance everything because that's just impossible. But Anne says it's completely different to have to paint to make money. Yes, it is. It's completely different. And when you start out doing this as a fun hobby and people like what you're doing and people buy what you're doing, and then you do that for several years, because I've been doing this going on 8 years now, then you get to a point where you've learned a lot and you are better at what you're doing and your prices are going up and you're trying to be more professional with the way that you handle things. There's more to it. There's more involved. And it can become stressful. So finding ways to paint for yourself, finding ways to balance between things that you like to paint and things that you know are going to sell is part of it too. So today's just one of those days where I'm just kind of dealing with, what do I want to do next? How do I want to handle this? How can I balance some of the stress that I'm feeling? Because if I don't find a way to handle it and I don't enjoy the creative part anymore, then I'm not going to have a business. So today I've chosen not to paint anything, because I know that if I try to paint something now, that I'm already feeling this stress of, well, I would like to paint this, but I know that this is what someone is going to want to buy. That tug of war is already going on in my mind, and so I know that whatever I do paint is not going to turn out well. So I'm just not going to paint anything. I'm going to allow myself to rest. So the three things that I said were bothering me today were stress, comparison, and negative remarks from people online. So like I said, looking at this from my point of view, I am painting things and putting them out there for everybody to look at and talk about and judge and give their unsolicited opinions about. And sometimes people say things, they may not mean for it to sound the way that it sounds, but sometimes people say things and it's a lot easier to type something than it is to say it to somebody's face. And if I am going to have a business that is online, I need to already know ahead of time. Sometimes I'm going to get comments that are just not nice. And it's hard for me, and my personality is to please everybody. I'm a people pleaser. And it's really personal when you put your artwork out there and someone says something that is not very nice about it. So those negative remarks can really stifle your creativity and make it really hard for you to want to paint something else and show it. So that's another thing that that has been bothering me today. Another reason why I can't paint. So there's the stress of what should I paint, because I know that this is probably going to sell, but I don't really want to paint that. I've talked to you guys about the roosters before. And then there's the negative remarks that I've gotten lately for some reason. And in the past, I've never really had problems with that. I've never had anyone to say anything just directly on my page that was mean. But I guess what happens is the more followers you get, the more likely those things are going to happen. So I'm just having to try to prepare myself and be okay with it and ban and delete and get rid of those comments that are bad, because for that one mean comment, there may be 200 really positive and sweet ones, but it only takes that one negative one to really mess up your mind. So doing this publicly online makes it really hard. And so for those of you who are fearful of doing this, it happens to all of us. It really it really bothers me, and it just hurts my feelings, I guess. But I do delete the comments. I have banned a few people, not a lot of them, but I just wanted to share this with you all so that you know that if this happens to you, you're not the only one that this happens to. It happens to everybody. Also, comparison. There is nothing that is going to stifle your ability to paint and be creative more than comparing your work or your business, or how many people you have in your business group, or how many paintings you've sold, or how many collections you have, to everybody else. And it's easy. It's very easy to get caught up in that, because everybody is online, everybody's connected. We're all, seeing one another and what the other person is doing. We're watching each other. So, those are the reasons why I've been having trouble today. Just calming down and painting. I actually just went to Walmart, and that was not helpful either, because that was stressful. But I just really don't feel like the majority of artists, the majority of business people in general, share their tough days as well as their good days. And so I want to do a series of live videos, and if you guys have questions about any of this, I'll be happy to try to help or answer your questions. But I would just like to kind of share with you what it's really like to be a full-time artist, because it's not all painting in your studio every day with your cup of tea and your happy music. That's part of it, and that is the best part of it, but that's not what happens all the time. That's not everyday life. Most days I wake up, I have on my pajamas, I grab my coffee, I go to my laptop, and I answer questions, I answer emails, I answer comments on things on social media. I go through and find people that have canceled any of my membership groups. I go through and look for orders and print out invoices. I stay on my computer 50% of the time. So I may stay on my computer more than 50% of the time. It is a big chunk of your work. If you're doing this online and you're doing it yourself and you don't have an agent, or you're not represented by a gallery or something like that, you have to do all the work. And not all of it is fun and pretty and relaxing. So anyway, I just want to share some of those things with you guys, and let you kind of see more about what it's really like. And my neck's turning red, because that happens when my blood pressure goes up if I'm nervous about something, or I feel really excited about something. So there you go. I can't help it. That's just what happens to me. I'm going to take some of your comments and read them. Let's see. Anne says she's impressed that I'm showing my vulnerabilities and I'm helping by showing this. I hope so. I really feel like I've been hiding something. There are a lot of things that people perceive to be successful or money makers or relaxing and helpful and fun that really are not. And so I have a whole list of things here that I want to talk about, that I'm interested to see how many of you actually know and understand from my side of things here. Thank you, Ashley. People can be mean, Glennis. I don't understand it. And thank you. Michelle says she's a people pleaser too. Thank you, Michelle. People who criticize and say negative things are unhappy with themselves and take it out on others. Sometimes that's very true. Anne says when the haters come, that means you have arrived. Thank you, Peggy. LJ says to try to just let it go and have having the same kind of thing today. You're doing great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to let it go, but this is what I do. I mean, when your job is to paint something to sell it, and people are supposed to like it in order to buy it, right? Or they're supposed to enjoy the tutorial video that you make, or I'm creating things for others. That's what I'm doing. And so if someone has a negative remark about the thing that I'm making for them, then it's really hard not to feel upset by that. Hi, Tana. See, Tony says, imagine that you're at a job and you're doing a great job. You're doing your best, and then find out customers are complaining about you or belittling you because they're having a bad day. Yeah, that's how it feels sometimes. Thanks, Hilma. So, and I'm not really sharing this to make you guys feel sorry for me. That's not what I just wanted to be as transparent as possible with my redneck and everything. And just let you see that it's not all happy, fun, exciting, relaxing all the time. It is most of the time, but it's not that way all the time. And so if you are working on something like this, if you are trying to sell your work yourself, or if you're trying to do something and people say negative things about it, or you're having problems with handling the stress of it all, or if you're starting to play that comparison game, then it's not going to help you. And today's one of those days where I've had to just regroup in my mind, give myself a little pep talk. I started to paint something and decided not to because I know it's not going to turn out well if I do it. You just may have some of those days. Teresa said, my personality is so much like hers, and she completely understands where I'm coming from. She thinks I'm doing a great job, and she's learned a lot from me. Thank you very much. But like I said, I'm going to do several videos like this because even though it's making me nervous and making me feel like I'm sharing more than I'm comfortable with, it's probably going to be more helpful to you than me showing you how to paint a dog or mix paint colors. Because if you are a crafty person and you want to turn your hobby into more than a hobby and make it in a business where you are actually making some money and putting yourself out there, because that's what you're going to have to do, especially these days where social media is so important with online businesses. These are the kinds of things that are going to happen that you're going to have to figure out how to handle yourself. But I just wanted to let you know that you're not alone if you are feeling these things, and it is very possible to regroup, start over, have a better day tomorrow. Kathleen said she's not been able to paint for almost a year, and it's okay. She'll get back to it when she's ready. That's exactly right. You have to have some free headspace to really create, and some downtime, and or I have to anyway. I have to have quiet, calm, less chaotic things going on in my mind for me to be able to create good art. So on days where I feel stressed out, or I feel like I can paint if I have to, but it's not going to be the best, so I'm just going to choose not to. Thank you, Beverly. Tony says that palette knife painting is just not for her, that it looked like she squished a bug on the canvas and smeared it. And what's in her mind doesn't end up on the canvas, so that's okay. And that's not, I'm totally not trying to make anybody feel bad about anything. I'm just wanting to share my perspective, what's happening with me today, why I'm having trouble painting, and see if this topic is something that you guys are interested in learning more about, what it's really like to be a full-time artist. So here are some of the things that I have written down. It's not painting all the time. I can go more into that. It's a lot of online work, a lot of computer work. Not all of the things that look successful really pay you very much money. And you have to paint things that are going to sell, but you still have to find a way to paint things that you enjoy painting. And some days you just don't need to paint. Some days you may need to just take a break and do something totally different. So anyway, you guys, thank you all for your encouragement and your sweet comments. And I'm going to think about this some more and probably do a little series of different videos about the inside, or the behind the scenes, or whatever you want to call it, what it's like for me to do what I'm doing. Because you know what it looks like to you, but from the inside it may look a little bit different perspective. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.